Hey, 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 welcome back, beautiful souls. It's your girl, Brittany. Hey, your manifesting mentor. I'm not a coach, I'm not a guru, but I'm a woman who walks the walk and who shares what works. So, some of the most miraculous healings don't happen through force, they happen through surrender to something greater than the self. So, if you're new here, I've been reading Becoming Supernatural chapter by chapter and breaking it down every week during my live discussions. The playlist is linked in my bio if you want to catch up. But this is chapter 14. The final chapter makes me sad, but makes me glad for all the things that we've learned and that we can actually implement. This final chapter is a collection of powerful case studies that prove the impossible is possible. Dr. Joe reminds us here that these people weren't trying to force a miracle. They set an intention and surrendered the outcome to the unified field. This part opens with Stacy's story. She's a healthcare worker who suffered years with debilitating headaches caused by a tumor. Her healing came not through surgery, but through a supernatural encounter during Dr. Joe's workshops. And this is where grace, light, and presence transformed her body and her life. So we're going to get started with Stacy's story in chapter 14. Case studies, it could happen to you. And I'm going to start each section by saying that it could happen to you. In this final set of supernatural case studies, please note that none of the people you will read about here tried to make anything happen. They simply had an intention and at the same time surrendered the outcome to something greater. When they hit that moment, whether it was a healing or a mystical experience, their personality wasn't creating the experience. Something greater came through them and did it for them. They connected to the unified field, and it was their interaction with this intelligence that moved them in some way. As you know by now, after everything you've read in this book, that intelligence also lives within you. Divine, can you hear me? That's the title of this section. In 2014, Stacy began experiencing severe headaches. For 25 years, she had worked in healthcare as both a registered nurse and an acupuncturist. She had always maintained a healthy lifestyle and rarely took medication. So, the sudden appearance of headaches, so excruciating, they nearly caused her to black out, was very alarming. After a year of exploring countless alternative therapies, she finally went to a doctor who ordered a CAT scan. The diagnosis was a meningioma. Meningioma. I'm sorry, y'all. It's a benign tumor that wraps around certain nerve tissue in the spinal nerves. Stacy's was sitting on or near her eighth cranial nerve, which began obstructing her acoustic nerve and creating significant changes in her neurological functions. The acoustic nerve has two branches, one for hearing and another for balance. So, in addition to unrelenting pain and loss of hearing, she was dizzy and nauseated. As the lesion grew, it also began pushing against another cranial nerve that ran along her face and continued down into her shoulder, resulting in a diagnosis of pitcher's shoulder. Soon, she also experienced pain in her eye. According to her physician, the only solution was a craniotomy, craniotomy, craniotomy. I'm sorry, y'all. I can't pronounce these scientific words. Anyways, which basically entailed drilling a large hole in the back of her head to remove the tumor. Stacy did not want to pursue this path, so she continued exploring other healing modalities. By the time she attended her first weekend workshop in Seattle in 2015, she estimated she had lost 70% of her hearing in her left ear. In the fall of 2016, she attended her first advanced workshop in Cancun, where she felt herself surrender to a whole new level, at a whole new level. Then, in the winter of 2017, she attended another advanced workshop in Tampa. On Thursday, she had a very intense earache that became much worse the next day. She said the sensation she felt was that her ear was closing up. But by the end of the day, after blessing the Energy Center's meditation, her earache curiously ended. Then on Sunday morning, during the pineal gland meditation, Stacy lost track of time and space. I almost felt like I was going to fall off my chair, she said. In that moment, this amazing flash of light consumed the left side of my head. Imagine if you put 1,000 diamonds together and shined a light on them. That wouldn't even begin to touch this light. And then, boom, her body shot upright and a bluish white light, nothing like nothing she'd ever seen or experienced, entered her ear. It was the most divine, loving feeling that I've ever had, she reported. I felt like the hand of God was caressing me with grace. It was so powerful and amazing that I struggled to put it into words, but every time I think of it, I still cry. First, her sinuses cleared. Then the whole left side of her head cleared. And then the left shoulder relaxed and let go. Finally, for the first time in 3 years, she could hear out of her left ear. I just sat there in awe, laughing and crying as tears flowed down my face, she said. Music was playing and I could hear it crystal clear. It was as if I could hear the celestial sound of angels singing above the song. I knew what I was hearing was beyond the normal auditory range. The energy continued to move through the back of the left side of my head, which for years had felt like cement. When I instructed everyone to lie down, relax, and let the autonomic nervous system take the orders, the energy continued to move through Stacy's whole body, down her arms, and into her hands. She began to shake uncontrollably. It was as if I could feel every synapse and muscle in my body firing in my toes, my legs, my head, my neck, and my chest. My heart center felt wide open. I just remember thinking, whatever this is, I'm taking the ride. She completely surrendered to the unknown, and once again, she lost track of time and space. When that portion of the meditation ended, she found herself sitting in her chair with the energy slowing and quieting down. Her thinking brain began to kick in. Even though she could hear, she began to doubt what had just occurred. Perhaps her ear was not totally healed. Perhaps the tumor was still present. Or perhaps she wasn't even worthy of healing. No sooner did she have the thought than the energy and light appeared in front of her. But this energy was different. It was red like the heart and blue like energy, and it was three-dimensional, she remembered. It was about 2 feet in front of me and almost slithering like a snake. All this was happening with my eyes closed. It was multidimensional, beautiful, crazy, gorgeous, fractal, and it came up to my face. It was almost as if the energy wanted to say, "You have doubts? Well, I'll show you." Then it shot into my heart. My chest opened up. I sat back on the chair and my arms fell wide open. I knew it was the energy of everything, the energy of chi, of spirit, of the divine, of the universe. Life is different now, she told me. For one, my hearing is at 100%, but it's more than that. It's hard to put into words, but I know that no matter what, I'm going to be okay. Life will never be the same because I know underneath everything, it's spirit who's looking to be heard and healed. Yep. And if you've ever doubted your ability to heal or to create a new reality, this chapter will shift your perspective. The intelligence that healed Stacy lives in you too. I'm reading this book chapter by chapter, as I've already told you, with the full video reflections linked in my playlist. You can find the full playlist here on YouTube or linked in my TikTok bio. Follow if you're ready for this journey with me because, yes, it could happen to you too. I'll see you in the next video.